The border station of the Dominion drifted at the edge of known space, a silent guardian of old metal, cold lights, and rotating rings that hummed with the memory of 1,000 battles. Nothing of consequence had happened here in centuries. The frontier was quiet, sacred, and guarded by a civilization so vast that most species bowed well before crossing its borders. That silence ended today. The station's alarm system erupted in a blinding wave of red, sirens slicing through the atmosphere with the precision of a blade. Commander Valthor jerked upright from his rest platform, for deep-set eyes narrowing as emergency lights filled the chamber. He rarely experienced fear. His species, the Valdren, were bred for discipline and unbreakable resolve, but something about this alert felt different. Officer Shira, her crystalline form trembling ever so slightly, turned from the sensor console. "Commander, we have an unidentified vessel," she said, her voice cracking like a fractured gemstone. "It crossed the Dominion boundary marker 7 minutes ago. It ignored all warning beacons. And it is still approaching." Valthor's huge frame rose with authority. The border of Dominion space was no trivial line, it was a declaration. 10,000 worlds united under one banner, and to intrude upon it was to defy. "Show me." The main display turned on. The ship was crude. Not grown from energy matter matrices like Dominion vessels. Not elegant. Not advanced. Instead, the craft looked like welded plates of metal forced into a functional shape. Primitive chemical thrusters spat exhaust. The design was boxy, ugly, almost stubbornly utilitarian. A young race. A careless one. A Tier 2 civilization at best, the station AI reported. Propulsion, nuclear fission. Weapons, kinetic cannon systems and retrofitted mining lasers. Threat level, negligible. Valthor exhaled slowly. So that was it. A developing species, younger than dust, wandering where they didn't belong. It wasn't the first time. Usually just a stern warning sent them scrambling home. "Open a channel," Valthor ordered. "All frequencies. All languages." He stepped before the communicator, placing his towering frame so that the intruder would understand precisely who they were defying. "This is Commander Valthor of the Galactic Dominion," he said, his voice deep as thunder. "You have violated a protected border. Turn back immediately or be vaporized. You have 30 seconds to comply." 30 seconds elapsed. Silence. Valthor's frown deepened. Either the intruder didn't have proper translation systems, or they were suicidal. Then the screen flickered. A face appeared. Smooth skin. Forward-facing eyes. Soft features. Short hair. A bipedal body built for endurance more than strength. A human being. "Hello," the stranger said cheerfully. "Captain Adrian Holt, Earth Exploration Vessel Voyager. Sorry to wander into your territory, we didn't see anything on our charts. Just passing through to study a stellar anomaly." He spoke as though he was greeting a neighbor at a dinner party. As if Valthor hadn't just threatened him with atomic annihilation. Valthor's mandibles tightened. His voice dropped into a darker register. "You misunderstand your situation, Captain. You are trespassing. If you continue forward, you will not return to your home world." Holt nodded mildly. "Oh, we understood. But here's the thing, your beacons were broadcasting in an encoding format we've never seen. Our systems couldn't interpret them. So we figured we'd just explain ourselves in person." Explain themselves. As if the Dominion cared about excuses. As if ignorance were a reason for committing the violation. As if this, human, were not speaking to a military commander who had ended wars with a raised hand. "Captain," Valthor said, "I will demonstrate what awaits you if you refuse to turn around." He signaled to his weapons officer. "Destroy the asteroid cluster beside their vessel." Cannons on the station hummed. A moment later, 30 asteroids, each the size of a small moon, erupted into incandescent vapor. A display of absolute power. A warning no species could misinterpret. Valthor turned back to the screen, fully expecting fear, panic, begging. Instead, Captain Holt leaned forward, fascinated. That was incredible. What was that energy output? That beam coherence must be just insane. Do you guys use multicore quantum stabilizers? Because the focus was absolutely pinpoint. Valthor blinked. The human wasn't afraid. He was impressed. Not intimidated, curious. Something cold shifted in Valthor's chest. This species was wrong. Their behavior did not fit any of the known psychological patterns. They did not bow to superior force. They did not retreat when outmatched. They asked questions. Captain Holt, Valthor said delicately, are you incapable of fear? Oh, we fear things, Holt said lightly. We just don't run from them. Humans are explorers. If there's a boundary, we cross it. If there's a warning, we check whether it applies to us. If someone says something is impossible, well, that's basically an invitation. A shiver rippled through Officer Shira. Valthor knew why. This species was dangerous not because of their weapons, but because of their mindset. Human beings didn't respond to threats like other species did. They challenged them. But before Valthor could reply, an alarm shrieked. Commander! Shira cried. Multiple warp signatures inbound. It's the Racker Raiders. Valthor froze. The Racker were nightmare-made flesh, space predators that ambushed the border stations, slaughtered civilians, and scavenged their technologies. Even Dominion forces treated them with caution. 7 Racker ships approached fast. Again, Holt's voice came through. We detected them too. Commander Valthor, it looks like you're about to be attacked. This is no concern of yours, human, Valthor snarled. Run while you still can. Holt shook his head. No, if someone's about to get hit, humans don't run. We help. You'll die, Valthor warned. Maybe, Holt said calmly, but not today. His tone sharpened. Commander, permission to fight beside you. Valthor stared at him. At this small, primitive, impossibly obstinate creature. At this, human. Permission granted, Valthor said in a quiet tone. The battle for the Dominion border had begun. And humanity, unknown, untested, underestimated, plunging headfirst into the fire. The Racker ship swept across the border, a pack of starborn predators with jagged hulls limned by the flickering glow of stolen technology. Their engines crackled with unstable energy, the remains of dozens of conquered species welded together into one brutal machine. Commander Valthor watched the tactical display as the 7 vessels accelerated toward the Dominion station, formation spreading into an attack claw. His heart hammered once. He had fought the Racker before. He knew what they were capable of. Shields to maximum, he ordered. All weapon platforms to active readiness. Broadcast emergency code to the nearest Dominion fleet. Officer Shira's crystalline tendrils were glowing under stress. Commander, estimated fleet response time, 47 minutes. Far too long. The Racker did not fight long battles. They struck fast, tore open hulls, stole what they wanted, and left behind corpses and debris. This station, isolated, undermanned, and filled with children, would be slaughtered before reinforcements arrived. Valthor steadied himself. We will hold as long as we can. But as he watched the Racker glide toward them like vultures drawing closer to a carcass, for the first time in 3 centuries, he felt doubt. Then a calm voice cut through the bridge speakers. Commander Valthor, this is Captain Adrian Holt of the EEV Voyager. Valthor's jaw tightened. Human, he snapped. This is a Dominion battle. Withdraw immediately. You cannot assist us. On screen, Captain Holt's face appeared, calm, steady, unflinching. With respect, Commander, you've got 317 souls on that station. 62 are juveniles. We scanned your life signs earlier. Valthor straightened. Humans scanned everything. Curiosity was in their nature. Holt continued, voice focused. We don't run from danger, Commander. If the Racker want a fight, they'll get one, from both of us. Primitive vessel. Primitive weapons. Primitive shields, actually, no shields at all. It didn't make any sense. You will die, Valthor warned. Maybe, Holt said. But humans have been avoiding extinction since we fell out of trees. Fighting overwhelming odds is kind of our brand. Valthor felt something odd twist in his chest. Was this bravery? Or insanity? Shira shouted before he could reply. Racker weapons charging impact in 5 seconds. The battle began with a storm of plasma fire. The shields of the Dominion flared bright blue beneath the barrage. The Racker continued to fire, plasma bolts, particle lances, kinetic spikes, hitting the station from every angle. The Voyager darted between beams, like a startled fish, with its chemical thrusters firing in quick bursts. The voice of Holt filled the bridge. Voyager returning fire. From the human ship came a sound unlike anything Dominion tech produced, a thunderous rattle, a constant metallic roar. Thousands of kinetic rounds launched every minute, tiny spears of dense alloy slamming into Racker shields. Primitive, yes. But brutally effective. One Racker ship bucked as its shields flared bright with overload. Another's armor dented inward beneath a hail of kinetic impacts. Impossible, Valthor muttered. They're punching holes in the Racker defenses. Shira nodded in amazement. They're saturating the shields. Overwhelming their recharge cycles. Valthor almost laughed. It was tactical genius cloaked in crude engineering. But the Racker were adapting. 3 of the vessels broke off and gave chase, targeting the Voyager directly and concentrating their firing on the smaller, weaker prey. Plasma fire enveloped the human vessel. Explosions rippled along its hull. Metal sheared away. Atmosphere vented through jagged wounds. Voyager report. Valthor barked. Once more, Holt appeared, coughing through smoke, yet somehow steady. Hull breach on decks 3 and 4, we've sealed it. Hull integrity at 70%. Still in the fight. You must retreat. Valthor demanded. No chance, Holt said. We're buying you time. The more they chase us, the less they shoot at you. The Voyager flew close enough to one of the Racker ships and fired right into a vulnerable engine joint. The blast ripped through the Raider's thrusters, sending it spiraling. Direct hit. Shira cried. But the station's shields were weakening. Commander, warned Valthor's technician, shields down to 32%. We can't withstand another full volley. And the Racker knew it. Their formation widened, curving around the station like a tightening noose. Then Shira screamed. Commander, multiple jump signatures detected. New ships arriving. Valthor's blood ran cold. Tactical count. 12 more Racker vessels, sir. Altogether 19. The Dominion would not last. The civilians. The children. He swallowed the weight of it. He would die fighting. That was the Dominion way. But Captain Holt's voice returned, sharper now, driven by a human ferocity Valthor had not yet seen. Commander. Listen up. We only have this once. Holt motioned off-screen, giving orders to unseen crew. The Racker reinforcements are coming through a jump corridor. They'll appear in a precise location. Valthor's eyes widened as realization formed. You propose. A reactor overload, Holt confirmed. Turn the Voyager into a nuclear mine. Valthor stared. That will destroy your ship. And your crew. Not if we eject in escape pods, Holt said. They're primitive, but they'll get us clear. Valthor looked at the tactical map. The Dominion station couldn't win. But Holt's insane, reckless, human idea. It might give them a chance. It would demand perfect timing. Perfect placement. Perfect bravery. Captain Holt, Valthor said in a low tone. If you survive this, you will have free passage through Dominion space forever. Holt smiled grimly. Then let's earn it. The Voyager veered away from the battle, dragging 3 Racker ships with it. Escape pods fired in every direction, small, metal beads drifting out to space. Shira counted down. Racker reinforcements arriving in 30 seconds. The Voyager's reactor glowed white-hot, readings spiking beyond safe limits. Holt's final transmission came through. Commander Valthor, thank you for trusting us. And then the ship detonated. A tiny star flickered on in the darkness. The shockwave slammed into the reinforcing Racker fleet. 3 ships vaporized instantly. 4 others were torn to pieces. The others fled in disarray. There was no hesitation on the part of Valthor. All weapons fire. Seal the kill zone. The Dominion station unleashed everything. One by one, the Racker ships fell. And then, nothing. The Voyager was gone. But the humans? Where the humans had lived. Commander Valthor stood in the silent command chamber, watching through the viewport as the drifting escape pods approached. The flash of the human ship's self-destruction still echoed across the station's sensors, a miniature sun born and extinguished in mere seconds. No Dominion officer had ever seen anything like it. Commander, whispered Shira, the human escape pods are reaching tractor range. Bring them in, Valthor ordered softly. Crew began working with the reverence usually reserved for honored war dead. They had just witnessed something unthinkable, a Tier 2, early space civilization sacrificing their only vessel to protect Dominion civilians. That wasn't strategy. It was character. Each of the escape pods clamped into the docking cradle with a metallic thud. Medical teams rushed to meet them. The first pod opened with a hiss of depressurizing air. Captain Adrian Holt tumbled out, bruised, soot-stained, his uniform in tatters. He still smiled. Well, he said, leaning for balance against a medic, that went better than expected. The Dominion crew stared at him in stunned silence. This human, whose species had only just scratched the surface of galactic navigation, had just fought side by side with them, then destroyed his own ship to save strangers. Shira spoke first, with a quivering voice. You survived a nuclear blast, by climbing into metal spheres. Holt blinked. Well, when you say it like that, it sounds weird. Valthor stepped forward. The towering Dominion commander looked down at the much smaller human captain. Captain Holt, he said steadily, you and your crew have earned the gratitude of the Dominion. And my respect. Holt gave a crooked grin. We couldn't leave you all to die. Not our style. Valthor bowed, something his race only ever did for great warriors. Holt stared awkwardly. Do I bow back or shake your hand or? Just stand there, Valthor said. That is enough. A word of caution. ## the galaxy reacts. Within the hour, Dominion reinforcements arrived, capital ships emerging from hyperspace in spearhead formations. But instead of finding a defeated border station, they found Racker wreckage drifting in molten chunks. A Dominion station still standing. And humans, small, exhausted, soot-covered humans, alive and laughing in the medbay. Fleet Admiral Corrin boarded the station with a full honor guard. His armor was etched with centuries of service, a walking relic of Dominion power. Commander Valthor, Corrin said, report. Valthor related all that had happened, the accidental trespass, the misunderstanding, the threats, the Racker ambush, and the human's unbelievable act of sacrifice. Corrin turned slowly toward Holt. You crossed Dominion borders, said the Admiral coldly. Holt straightened. Yes, sir. We didn't know, but I accept responsibility. Corrin stepped closer. You argued with a Dominion commander. Yeah, sorry about that. You stayed to fight rather than flee. It felt wrong to leave. You blew up your own ship. Holt nodded. We had no choice. Corrin's face softened. And yet, all 30 of your crew survived. Humans, Holt said with a shrug. We improvise. For a long moment, Corrin stared at him. Then the Admiral extended his arm, the Dominion gesture of alliance. Captain Adrian Holt of Earth, Corrin said loudly, you and your crew are hereby granted honorary Dominion citizenship. Shock rippled across the command deck. And, Corrin went on, I will recommend that Earth be added as an official emerging ally world. Any species that produces warriors willing to die for strangers is a species the Dominion wants beside us, not against us. Holt blinked several times. I don't know what to say. Say nothing, Corrin replied. Your actions spoke clear enough. Hashtag the Racker's shame. The surviving Racker slunk away, back into deep space. But by now, their message was spreading. Humans, tiny, fragile, primitive humans, had fought the Dominion's oldest enemy and won. By sacrifice. By courage. By sheer impossible will. In a matter of hours, the story reached the warlords of Racker. Some laughed. Some snarled. But all felt a single emotion they had never felt toward a newborn species. Fear. Hashtag the scientists from Dominion observe. Dominion xenobiologists treated injured humans in the research wing. They were perplexed. A medic scanned Holt's shoulder. Your bone density, the medic muttered, it is absurd. You have fractures, but you're still standing. Holt shrugged. It's a human thing. You have multiple microtears in your muscle fibers. Human thing. Your bloodstream contains levels of adrenaline that would kill most species. Very human thing. The medic stared. How have your people survived this long? Holt's grin grew. We die a lot, but we keep going. A perilous offer. Later, in a private chamber, Admiral Corrin and Valthor stood with Holt, now cleaned up in patched emergency clothes. Corrin folded his arms. Captain Holt. There is something you must understand. Today, your species has drawn attention. Holt frowned. What kind of attention? The kind that unsettles empires, Valthor said darkly. Stories of your courage will spread faster than any starship. Corrin nodded. Some civilizations want to befriend humans, and some want to destroy you before you become a threat. Holt swallowed. We're not trying to start anything. Intentions do not matter, said Corrin. Perception does. Valthor stepped forward. Earth is not ready for the galaxy. You do not understand the politics, the predators, the ancient grudges. So what do we do? Holt asked quietly. Corrin replied in a slow, deliberate tone. You form an alliance with us. Immediately. Publicly. Permanently. Holt blinked. An alliance? Between Earth and the Dominion? Corrin nodded. Yes. We protect emergent allies. In return, you cooperate with us on exploration, research, and defense. Holt rubbed his temples. I'm a long way from Earth, Admiral. I don't have authority for any treaties. You do have something else, Valthor said. You have respect. And influence. When you return home, Earth will listen. Holt took a deep breath. I can take the proposal to our leaders. Corrin smiled, something that Dominion admirals seldom did. That is all we ask. The human proof before the chapter closed, Holt had one last request. I want the wreckage of the Voyager, he said, his voice low. A piece of it. Something to take home. Valthor nodded and handed him a twisted metal plate charred black from the explosion. The letters VOYA were hardly legible. Holt held the fragment with care. We'll build a new ship, he replied quietly. Better. Stronger. Valthor's eyes brightened. I look forward to seeing it. Holt nodded. So do I. The shuttle dropped out of hyperspace on the dark side of Earth. Captain Adrian Holt had seen the planet 1,000 times in photos. None of them were like this. Oceans glowed faintly, city lights formed constellations of their own, and the curve of the horizon cut clean against the nebula painted black. Several Dominion officers stood silently behind him. Commander Valthor was tall, heavy-framed, and stood near the viewport, his armor plates catching reflections from the earth below. Officer Shira drifted beside him, crystalline body shifting with quiet wonder. So that is your home, Valthor said. Holt nodded. Yeah. Small. Loud. Stubborn. Accurate, Shira whispered. The shuttle banked toward the human orbital platform, Horizon Station Earth's half-finished Pride project. The docking controllers on the human side were already panicking. Unidentified vessel, this is Horizon Control. You're entering restricted orbit. Identify immediately or we'll scramble interceptors. Holt tapped the console. This is Captain Adrian Holt, formerly of the Earth vessel Voyager, now aboard Dominion Diplomatic Transport Asterion. I'm bringing guests. Silence. Then a different voice, tighter, sharper. Holt. You were declared missing 6 months ago. Confirm identity. Sighing, Holt rolled his shoulders. Identification code Gamma 7 Lambda 9 Holt 03. And I still hate that the coffee machine on Horizon only works on alternate Thursdays. There was a pause. Identity confirmed, the controller admitted. You are cleared to dock. Your guests, however. Holt didn't let him finish. They're with me. They saved our lives. We saved theirs. Today you're going to be polite. He exhaled into the mic. Understood. Docking Bay 3 is ready. Welcome home, Captain. The bay doors opened. Human soldiers lined the platform in full gear, rifles lowered but ready. Politicians, military brass, and scientists stood behind a transparent bulkhead to watch. Then, from the shuttle stepped the Dominion envoys. First down came Commander Valthor, huge, four-eyed, armored, like some sort of walking tank. Then Shira, translucent and glowing, and after her 2 more Dominion representatives in their fancy uniforms. The human soldiers grasped tighter. One of them whispered, just a little too loud. They look like boss fights. Holt stepped between the 2 groups. Everybody relax, he said. They're here to talk, not conquer. If they wanted this station gone, you'd have never seen them coming. General Quan, head of Earth Defense Command, stepped forward, her features hard and inscrutable. You brought aliens into Earth orbit without prior authorization, she said. Yes, ma'am, Holt replied. But if I hadn't, none of us would have authorization anymore. We'd be dead, and the Dominion would think we were idiots. Quan studied him for a long moment, then turned to Valthor. On behalf of Earth I welcome you to human space, she said. Her tone was formal but not hostile. We have prepared a secure facility for talks. Security is understood, Valthor replied. His translated voice sounded deep and resonant through the speakers. We accept your hospitality, and offer our own, in return. The first meeting. Originally, the conference room had been built for high-level Earth-only meetings. Now, it held something far bigger. One side of the long table had humans. Present were President Maya Chen, General Quan, several scientists, and 2 representatives from the United Earth Council. On the other hand, present were Admiral Corrin appearing via Dominion HoloLink Commander Valthor, Shira, and a legal specialist whose name the translator shortened to Vas. Holt sat near the center, between the 2 sides, like a bridge holding 2 cliffs apart. President Chen folded her hands. Let's make this simple, she said. Captain Holt returns after 6 months, missing in action, with proof of galactic civilizations and a military empire called the Dominion. She looked at Holt. You claim there was a battle. You claim you blew up your own ship. You claim all of this. Yes, ma'am, Holt said. And you, she turned to Valthor, claim you represent a union of thousands of worlds. Admiral Corrin's hollow flicker leaned forward. That is not a claim, Corrin said. It is a fact, verified across every sector of the galaxy. Slowly, Quan exhaled. Fine. Then the real question is, why are you here? Valthor didn't hesitate to answer. Because humanity crossed our border, refused to be intimidated, fought beside us, and sacrificed their only ship for our civilians. That's not just notable, that's historic. We came because Captain Holt has shown us what your species is, and we would prefer humans as allies rather than surprises. Holt scratched the side of his head. To be fair, we're still surprises even to ourselves. A few humans even smiled. Shira's crystalline facets shifted through soft colors. Your people are strange, she said. You joke after near death. You improvise during disaster. You disobey orders if they feel wrong. It is confusing, but effective. President Chen leaned back in her chair. You're proposing an alliance. An emergent world alliance, Corrin explained. You are young by galactic standards. You lack the infrastructure to stand alone for long. Many powers will see your potential and decide to remove you before you grow. Holt felt the room tense at those words. Threat. Vulnerability. Target. Corrin continued. The Dominion offers protection, technology exchange, and recognition. In return, you will cooperate on exploration, diplomacy, and defense. You will not be absorbed or ruled, but we will expect you to stand with us when called. And if we refuse? Asked General Quan, forthrightly. Corrin's eyes clouded a bit. Then we will still respect you. But others will not. The galaxy has seen what humans can do. You will not be ignored again. Argument by a human. The meeting was recessed for 2 hours to allow the human side to argue in private. Holt sat in a smaller briefing room with General Quan and President Chen. Well, Chen said, in your opinion, are they authentic? Yes, Holt said. They really don't do subtle. If they wanted to conquer us, they'd arrive with fleets, not diplomats. And they already know we're dangerous to underestimate. Quan frowned. We ally with them, we paint a huge target on Earth. Their enemies become our enemies. General, Holt said quietly, their enemies already exist. And they already know we exist, too. Racker raiders, hegemony bullies, whatever else is out there, they've heard the story. Humans blew up their own ship and lived. We're not invisible anymore. Chen tapped her fingers on the table. What happens if we try to stay neutral? Holt thought of the Krell, no, the Racker, the pirates, the way they had tried to overwhelm the Dominion station without a second's hesitation. Then we stand alone, Holt said. With one solar system, a handful of ships, and a reputation we can't back up yet. That's not neutrality. That's bait. Quan sighed. I hate that you're right. Chen looked out the viewport at the Earth turning slowly below. An alliance with aliens. 20 years ago, we were still arguing about satellite debris. She turned back. You really trust them, Holt? He thought of Valthor bowing. Of Dominion medics treating human injuries like their own. Of Admiral Corrin's laugh when calling humans allies we'd rather have than enemies. Yes, Holt said. I don't think they're perfect. But they are honorable. And they respect us. That's more than we've gotten from our own species, sometimes. That last line actually made Quan huff a small unwilling laugh. President Chen nodded slowly. All right. We will not be signing everything today. But we begin the process. Carefully. Step by step. Preliminary, performance testing is conducted to see if a program executes quickly and responsively under a variety of loads and stimuli, and to identify bottlenecks for tuning. First step. The meeting reconvened. President Chen stood. On behalf of Earth, we are prepared to open formal negotiations for an alliance with the Dominion, she said. With conditions. Corrin nodded. Expected. First, Chen said, no Dominion military base will be put on or in orbit of Earth without joint command. Second, all technology shared must be understood, not just handed to us as black boxes. Third, no other species will claim human colonies or territory while negotiations are in progress. Corrin inclined his head. Those conditions are reasonable. Valthor added. And in return, we ask that humans stand with us when border worlds are threatened. We know now that you will fight, not for conquest, but for lives. That is the kind of ally we need. Holt watched the two sides closely. For the first time in human history, it wasn't humans begging for a place at the table. They were being invited. After hours of drafting, arguing, editing, and translating, the first provisional accord between Earth and the Galactic Dominion was signed. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't final. But it was real. Later, Holt stood in a quiet corner, looking at the holos of the signed document. Shira floated over, her light patterns soft. "You seem conflicted," she observed. "Just thinking," Holt said. 6 months ago we were alone. Now we're in the middle of galactic politics. "Does that frighten you?" she asked. He considered it. "A little," he said. "But humans don't really do safe. We do forward. Even when it hurts." Shira glowed a little brighter. "Then perhaps," she said, "the galaxy has just become more interesting." Earth's night side glowed beneath the conference windows as Captain Adrian Holt stepped out of the chamber, exhausted but alive with adrenaline. The provisional accord had been signed. The Dominion delegation was preparing to depart to brief their High Council. And humanity, for the first time, had allies among the stars. But the galaxy wasn't going to give them a warm welcome. Not tonight. The warning. The lights in the corridor began to flicker. Then the station alarms screamed. The voice of General Quan droned sharply and coldly over the loudspeakers. **** all personnel to battle stations. Unknown vessels inbound, multiple signatures emerging from dark space, ***. Holt froze. Dark space. No hyperlanes. No jump corridors. No detectable entry. Only one faction employed technology of that sort. Valthor appeared beside him, claws flexing. "Racker marauders," the commander growled. "They must have tracked your ship's destruction signal weeks ago. They often shadow human trade lanes to exploit confusion. And they're here now?" Holt demanded. Shira pulsed with frantic light. "They are not here for you," she whispered. ***, they're here, because a new alliance makes you a threat. They want to break Earth before it rises." The floor shook as the first shockwave hit. The attack on Earth orbit. Horizon Station shook under a plasma barrage. In the viewport, Holt saw massive, jagged vessels emerge from distortion clouds, like steel predators. 5, 8, 11 ships. Each one big enough to swallow the Wanderer twice over. Interceptors launched in defense of Earth, streaks of silver against the void. They were brave, but pitifully outmatched. Plasma torpedoes erased 3 fighters instantly. General Quan materialized at Holt's elbow, armor half-buckled, face hard. "Captain Holt, get to command. Now." But Valthor blocked her path. "You are outgunned," he said bluntly. "Your ships cannot stand alone. And what do you suggest?" Quan snapped. Valthor activated his wrist comm. "Asturian, this is Commander Valthor. Deploy the shield spire." Holt blinked. "The what?" Shira whispered. "Something we were saving, for emergencies." A cylindrical crystalline device detached itself from the shuttle outside and shot towards Horizon Station. It unfurled like a blooming flower, projecting a shimmering blue spear around the entire human installation. A Racker torpedo slammed into it. And dissolved into harmless mist. General Quan stared. What is that?" "Dominion phase deflection lattice," Valthor said. "Prototype. You are the first non-Dominion world to receive its protection." Holt smirked. "Not bad for our first day as allies. Hashtag the counterstrike." The Racker vessels rallied, now recognizing something was amiss. Their first ambush had failed. Then, on all frequencies, their leader appeared, a monstrous figure with serrated mandibles and burning red eyes. *** humans. Interlopers. Pets of the Dominion. Your world is weak. You do not deserve the stars. Surrender your station, or burn with it." A chill ran down Holt's spine. Not on account of the threat. But because the Earth was now in the center of galactic politics. And someone out there wanted them wiped out before they could grow. General Quan leaned towards the microphone. This is Earth Defense Command. If you want us, come and try. Beside her, Shira's crystals brightened. That was bold. That, Holt corrected, was human. The Wracker ships charged. The Dominion shield caught the first barrage, but flickered. This wasn't infinite protection. Holt turned to Valthor. We need your ships. They are 3 hours away, Valthor said. Too far to assist. We don't have 3 hours. Shira interrupted. But your ships, the human ships, can still fight. General Quan shook her head. Our fleets can't break those hulls. Not alone, Shira said. But together, your weapons and our technology may succeed. Holt's eyes suddenly widened as the idea clicked. Hybrid targeting. Exactly. Still, modern archaeology does not deal only with the excavation and presentation of artifacts, because the science as a whole encompasses many areas of intellectual work, so it also continues in the domains of studying and interpreting social processes of the past. #the human Dominion defense. The command center filled with urgent motion. Dominion officers linked their systems into the station's network. Human engineers rerouted power to weapon platforms. Quan barked orders. Holt ran tactical. Valthor oversaw shield reinforcement. 2 civilizations working as one. Then the moment of truth arrived. *** targets locked, ***, Holt said. *** fire, ***. Human coil guns fired first, projectiles accelerated at impossible speeds, thanks to Dominion phase stabilization. Plasma bursts followed, powered by Dominion capacitors but guided by human prediction algorithms. A Wracker destroyer took the full hit. Its hull buckled inwards. And then shattered like glass in a vacuum. Holt let his breath out. They could win this. # the decisive blow. The remaining Wracker ships adjusted. 3 of them aligned in a tight spear formation aimed at Earth's atmosphere. Shira's crystals dimmed. They are preparing an extinction strike. General Quan looked horrified. A kinetic drop, that would level half a continent. Holt slammed his hand onto the console. Then we stop them. Valthor nodded. We will accompany you. Holt blinked. Accompany? Where? ***, into battle, ***. The final stand. Holt, Valthor, Shira, and a team of Dominion engineers sprinted toward Hangar 2. Inside sat Earth's newest prototype gunship unfinished, patched with exposed wiring but fast. Very fast. Can this thing even fly? Shira asked. Holt grinned. Probably not. But humans do impossible things all the time. Valthor strapped in beside him. Your bravery borders on madness. Thank you, Holt said. The gunship launched, hurtling toward the trio of Wracker vessels preparing their planet-killer drop. Range, 7,000 kilometers, Shira reported. Shield stabilizing. Weapons. 40% functional. That's 40% more than we need, Holt said. They closed the distance. Wracker guns opened fire. The gunship shook violently, its hull scorched. Hold together, Holt whispered to the ship. Just a little longer. Shira projected targeting data into Holt's helmet. Fire now. Holt hit the trigger. A single Dominion-charged coil lance fired a bolt of energy so dense, it folded the space around it. It pierced the Wracker lead ship straight through its reactor. And filling the vacuum was a silent blossom of white light. The other 2 Wracker vessels disengaged, moving in retreat almost immediately. Earth was safe. For the time being. Epilogue, a new future. Back at Horizon Station, President Chen spoke before both human and Dominion delegations. Today, humanity learned 2 truths, she said. 1, we are no longer invisible. 2, we are not alone. Valthor bowed deeply. Your world fought with honor. The Dominion recognizes humanity as a rising force, one we are proud to stand beside. Holt had looked through the viewport at Earth turning peacefully below. He had left home as a crewman of the Voyager. He returned as something more. A bridge. A witness. A soldier who saw two civilizations choose alliance over annihilation. And somewhere, out in the depths of space, other empires had already begun to take notice. Humanity was no longer a footnote. They were a contender. And their story was just starting.